show came about because of a exhibition that used to be on every year in about the late 80s, early 90s. A man called Greg Bell, who was the technical advisor for the printmaking department at the university for many years, and he would put on this smashing little t-shirt show, and I just loved it. The best t-shirts were there. You know, you could just come and get something individual, and I've always kept it in my mind. So it really was testament to Greg Bell why we started there, and Fiona was on board straight away.
I think the conversation started because I was taking a break from some of the work that I was doing and doing some screen printing on t-shirts just for fun. And I think in the making of the t-shirts, it jogged your memory that there was that great show.
Our main aim was for everyone to just have fun with the t-shirt. We wanted to bring the community together. It's coming up Christmas. People go to shops and buy all sorts of things at Christmas time, and it's really hard for people to buy unique t-shirts. You know, they're often generic, and so it was twofold. We wanted them to have fun. We wanted to bring a community together. It didn't have to be artists. Grandmas, granddads, cousins, uncles, kids.
Something else we wanted to do is just make a really inclusive event that was really accessible, because galleries can often be intimidating places for people that haven't shown in them before. And so by putting work on a t-shirt, I feel the response has been one of just an inclusive idea that it's sort of, I don't know what it is about a t-shirt, perhaps we're all wearing one right now, but it's enabled a lot of people that don't identify themselves as an artist to be able to contribute to this exhibition and really have a bit of fun. So I'm really encouraged by that there's different people using their creative skills and, you know, feeling empowered, having their work hanging on the wall and then coming along to the opening.
Well, the response has been amazing. People have brought their work in thinking when they first started this would be too hard, or they didn't quite know what they would be making, and then they've gotten carried away and their whole lounge room is now covered in threads and shreds, and they've been doing it for the last couple of months. All of the stories, there's so many stories. I could talk about this one over here. She decided that the crone was a word that she wanted to empower because she's of a certain age. So she has hand embroidered this list of names for women on one side of the shirt, and then on the other side of the shirt she's got a list of names that would empower a woman of a certain age. That one there was a lovely story, and she had great fun researching all those words.
Another creative came in, and she had been speaking with her friend who had some health problems, and they wanted to make t-shirts, but they were running out of time. But they made them, and when they brought them in, they're absolutely beautiful. But the story that unfolded when she came in was one that her friend had health issues. Her friend supported her to make the t-shirt, and the making of it was very healing for her, and I just found that a really beautiful story and like a big motivator to try and do an event like this again, where people can tap into their creative skills and not be intimidated buy a white box because it's just an everyday t-shirt. So if we can sort of facilitate more experiences like that, I think that we're onto a good thing. And I think that's only one story of over 250 shirts that we have here around us. I think the overwhelming response I've had when people come in is that it was so fun. They're really able to let their hair down and just have a good time. It's the end of the year. Like the last few years, as everyone knows, has been, you know, pretty tough for a lot of people.
Every single t-shirt has a story attached to it in some way or form. Every single t-shirt.
I think that we're both quite organised humans and like to prepare things in advance. So we did have multiple role plays about how we would do the drop-off, so what would happen when there's 5 artists coming and we have the tags, and so we worked it all out by doing it. And then also similarly with the purchasing of the t-shirts, like we physically went in there and said, okay, you know, somebody wants this one and that one, and so we were able to really have a pretty clear idea of what was required, and so far so good. All the drop-off's been very good, but like basically we're just 2 artists that have studios here. We have organisational experience, and Marley is a professional art installer, so what you see behind us was I think mostly achieved because of your great talent.
This is the first time that this gallery has been completed in terms of the walls being freshly painted just before this show. And yes, being in the profession, I know only too well what it's like to patch and paint walls again. So I personally was looking for the least amount of damage done to this wall. But the beauty of being at the Creator Incubator is we're surrounded by other creatives. So I was able to gather together ideas about how to, first of all, cheaply make the fixings for the walls. Fiona and I putting this on initially, and then the logistics of it, and then the cost of it, we needed to keep everything pretty low in cost. It's come together partially because of the community and partially because of our organisational skills. I've worked out that we're actually a really good team along the way. We like to be organised. So Fiona covering all of the ticketing and the organisation of the forms and all of that type of thing, and then myself, you know, basically on the how things are going to look because of my experience. So I think we've worked out pretty well.
This t-shirt exhibition in this big space, but also just beside us there in the small gallery space, we also have more three-dimensional sculpture type artworks. So it was quite a big job to hang this space and that space, and I think it's important to mention the support of the community around us. Like Marley was saying, the materials are sourced from many artists around here, and then also on opening night there's more than a handful of volunteers from artists from the studio that will be helping you know, behind the bar with the sales, with everything on the opening night. So we really draw on the skills and the capacity of the people around us to make it happen. And Braden, of course, from the incubator, who's facilitated this whole process. Marley and I are volunteers, and we have the cost burden is up on us as individuals. We've had a great idea that we think, what we know is benefiting the community, and a lot of people have different ideas about what this event is, but it's really just 2 volunteers coming together with our time and money to make a big event for the end of the year. So in the future we'd really be looking for financial support to try and make it an annual event, because we've had such a positive response and overwhelming response from makers and the community more broadly. Tomorrow afternoon we will open the exhibition formally to the public, and at 5 p.m. the t-shirts will go on sale. We anticipate there'll be hundreds of people here. It will be a dramatic reveal when the giant roller door to the space lifts and the crowds rush in. People will rush in, grab their shirt and be able to take it home that night with them. We will have food and drinks here. It'll be a really nice atmosphere, and we do anticipate that a lot of the t-shirts will sell tomorrow. Artists are often the ones that bear the cost of events like this, and Marlene and I are just artists here and volunteers that have put a lot of our time and money into this show. And I think events like this and the arts more broadly need to be supported at a state level by funding to ensure that there are events that are accessible and inclusive and that bring people together.
So I think people just assume that it's going to be a yearly event. They already can see it in their mind's eye. I think they assume that the Creator Incubator is this place that puts on these amazing shows all the time, but they forget that actually we're just artists that have our own exhibitions to work towards, our own work to make. We just rent our studios, but we had a great idea and we had to follow it through. And now I think Fiona and I feel we've created this wonderful monster. And yes, in the future, it has been a big job. We are lucky that we're organised and we've thought things through. I can see it having legs, and I can see it being a yearly thing and getting bigger, because there is certainly space in this space and in the other space for more t-shirts. Although we have that many, you know, we could easily hang double the amount in here.